Hello everyone. Today we're starting a series of 4 classes about a very interesting thing that many people do not usually get the chance to get to it learning wise. As you could see, the first slide is the first few psukim, few verses from Sefer Mishle. King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech, left for us 3 books in the Tanakh, and one of them is Mishle. And the entire book, the idea of the book is to teach us very deep concepts with parables from our everyday life. Because the concepts are deep, so Shlomo HaMelech chose different kind of similar to the thing that you want to teach us from our everyday life in order to understand the mashal and through it go to the thing that you really want to teach us. So the 6th pasuk in Mishle is the one in red over here, Lehavin mashal umelitza divrei chachamim vechidotam. So the purpose of this book of Mishle is for us to understand the mashal, the mishalim, the stories that looks like nothing in them, but because those things are divrei chachamim, the words of wise people, our scholars, they give their things, the deep ideas, in an enigma way. And this is Divrei Chachamim Vechidotam. So this is the book in the Tanakh, Sefer Mishle. What we're going to do is to go to the Chachamim, our sages, and I want to just show you an amazing story that one of the Amoraim in the Talmud just came and tell one morning in the Beis Medrash. He came and he tells a story that happened to him. I'm going to warn you in advance that this story is completely insane. Crazy, impossible. But the story is not the story. The story is just a mashal. It's a parable to the real thing that you want to say. Because we know this Amoiro, his name is Rabbi Bar Chana. Remember the name, Rabbi Bar, the son of Chana. That's his name. That's his name in the Talmud. In many other places in the Talmud, he speaks really seriously about things that you could understand logically. But in this page in the Talmud, he brings few amazing stories that each one of them, if someone will say it seriously, if you really like this person, you send him to a treatment. Because it seems completely crazy. The more crazy it is, because it's one of the scholars that we should give a lot of credit to, therefore, we have to understand, as Shlomo HaMelech just offered us over here, suggests us, lehavin mashal umelitza, divrei chachamim vechidotam. Okay, so let me show you the story. First in the original, in the way it's written in the Gemara, and then the translation, which is always reduced from the original. Okay, this is the story. Just 1 minute. This is the story. The story is in Maseches Bava Batra in the Talmud, Daf Ayin Gimel Amud Bet, page 73. Here's the story. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana. Rabbi Bar Chana came and said the following: Ledidi chazyali hahi akrukta. You know what? Let's go line by line and see the translation too. Rabbi Bar Chana said, I have seen I have seen a certain frog. Akrukta in Aramaic is a frog. Frog, the animal, the second plague in Egypt. Frog. So he saw a frog. Until here, it's not something special. Many people could go on a wet or, near a body of water, you could see frogs. But this frog was so unusual. That was as large as the fourth Akra of Hegronia. Rashi says that Akra of Hegronia, Akra de Hegronia, is a name of a city, a town. Here they translated, I don't know why, fourth of Hegronia, which is, fourth. So this frog was so big as a whole city. So he named the city Akra de Hegronia. The people probably there in this Bet Medrash knew what he's talking about, because probably it was nearby. It's a place that very well known by them. But because the Gemara wants other people at that generation, and for the next few generations who do not live nearby and have no idea what Akra de Hegronia is, ask the Gemara. And how large is the fourth of Hegronia? How big this city? Answer the Gemara. It is as large as 60 houses. 60 houses, it's not a big town. It's not a big city. It's maybe even small farm or something like this. But anyway, even as a city, it's small. To see a frog big like this, it's really unusual. So imagine a frog that big like a car. No, it's not like a car. It's a house. Not one house. 60 houses. So he saw this frog and he was astonished. Not every day you see such a frog. And he said, in comments, says that seriously. He was not smiling when he's saying this. Okay. But he had just started the action. Look what happened next. So here the translation is not exactly as in the original. Let me show you the original. Okay, after it says that this city, Akra de Hegronia, is 60 houses, the Gemara says, Ata Tanina Bal'a. They translate Tanina as snake. But in the original it says Tanina. Tanina is alligator. But here the translation says, a snake came and swallowed the frog. So the frog was near a body of water. From the water came a snake, alligator, and swallow it, not even bite it or chew it, just swallow it in one shot. It means that the mouth of this alligator was bigger than the Akra de Hegronia, the big city of 60 houses. Okay, so the alligator swallowed the frog. Still he's looking at this and become even more astonished. Then another thing happened. A raven came a raven from up, a bird, a big bird, a raven. And this raven was hungry. He didn't find any food around. So he dipped his beak into the body of water, took this alligator and swallowed him with the frog that big like 60 houses in its stomach of this alligator. So the raven swallowed the alligator. A raven came and swallowed the snake or the alligator. So after this good meal, he was tired, the raven. So he was looking for a place to rest. So he saw a tree. The raven saw a tree nearby and continue the story. and flew up and sat on a tree. Sat on this tree. Okay, that's the story. Now the conclusion. Says Rabbi Bar Chana, come and see how great is the strength of the tree, which could bear in one branches of it the weight of the raven with all these things in his stomach. What do you think about this? If someone will come and tell you a story like this, or send him to treatment, as you said before, right? But it's Rabbi Bar Chana. So it's not ended over here. Look, when Rabbi Bar Chana, told this story in the Beis Medrash, another of the famous Amoraim in the Talmud, Rav Papa Bar Shmuel, stood and said the following: if I had not been there and see this, I will not believe it. But I was there with Rabbi Bar Chana, and I saw it. And therefore I believe it. Okay, this is the story. Those are the few lines in the Gemara. In order to understand what's written over here, we need to learn half of Tanakh and very, very deep concept that mentioned in the Midrashim, in some of them, even in the deepest places in the Torah. But this is the story. As I started with the words of Shlomo HaMelech, we have to understand, lehavin, mashal umelitza, divrei chachamim vechidotam. We have to understand what our sages actually wanted to tell us. Okay, so let's start. And our project is to try understanding what's going on. I will just summarize the story. In the story, we have three animals: the frog, the crocodile, and the raven. We have one city, Akra de Egronia, and we have the tree. Those 5 things should be verified. What actually it means to say by this. And again, in order to understand this, we have to learn half of Tanakh. We'll start where? What do you think? Here. And the first pasuk in the Torah. This is the beginning, key. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. I repeat a thing that maybe you heard from me before. I'm not sure who is listening now and who from the people who are listening now heard me before and who heard this thing, and even if you remember what you heard. So I'll repeat it. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. What is Shamayim and what is Aretz? The creation that Hashem created divided to 2 major things. Shamayim, which is the spiritual dimension in the universe, and Aretz, which is the physical dimension in the universe. Aretz, it's not planet Earth. It's the entire physical dimension in the universe. Okay, it's important, therefore, let's analyze the words and see how those words saying what I just said to you. Let's start from the Shamayim. In Lashon HaKodesh, the letters Yud and Mem at the end of a word, always, Yud Mem, take singular and make it plural. Take 1, make it 2, or 3, 4, 5. 2 is just the lowest number of plural. Okay? Examples. How do you say hand in Hebrew? Yad. How do you say 2 hands? Yadayim. Al netilas yadayim. So you add Yud Mem. Same thing with regel, raglaim, katef, ktefayim, lechi, lechayim, ozen, oznaim, nechir, nechirayim, etc., etc. So Yud Mem is a plural. If it makes it plural, what is the it? The first 2 letters. What are the first two letters of Shamayim? The letters Shin and Mem. What is Shin and Mem? Shin and Mem is a word by itself in Hebrew, but you have to understand the word Sham. Sham is there. What is there? There is everything that's not here. What's here? Here is not something that near me in a space, in my room. Here is everything that I could grasp, understand in my mind. All of these things are here. There are things that way beyond my way to understand, and those are there. Those are there. There meaning away from my ability to understand. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us in the Torah in the beginning that the reality is bigger than what we think. We could see the physical dimension. We could see as much as our senses could allow us to see. But this is not the real picture of the real reality. The real reality is bigger. Not just physically. There are physical things that because they're so small, you could not see them unless you use a microscope. And microscope also give you partial picture because there are things that so small, physical things, that even in a microscope you could not see them. There are things that are very far away from you, physical things that far away from you. You need a telescope to see. And even with a telescope you see partial, not the full picture. So even in the physical realm, there are things that here, there are things that far away from you. But technically, you could improve your technology and understand and grasp physical. The big story is that the world includes also a spiritual dimension, let's call it this way, non-physical dimension. And this non-physical dimension, you have no way to access. Your senses are not built in order to give you a picture of the non-physical, only the physical. So there are things, Hashem told us in the beginning, that are there, away from you, from your ability to understand. Therefore they are Sham, they are there. But because they are so there, it's not just there, it's there in square, meaning it's Shamayim. It's there, very there. That's Shamayim. So this is Shamayim. What's Aretz? Aretz, we said, it's the physical dimension in the universe. How come it's called the Aretz? How the word describe it? The Gemara asked this question about the Aretz. The Gemara says, Lama nikra shma Aretz? Why the physical called Aretz? And the Gemara gives very interesting answer. There are two versions of the answers. Lama nikra shma Aretz? Sheratza la'asot retzon kona. Because why the physical dimension that Hashem created called Aretz? In the word Aretz you have two letters, Reish Tzadik at the end of the word, Reish Tzadik. Reish Tzadik also, it's a word by itself in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh. Ratz, larutz, to run, to run. So the physical, says the Gemara, the physical dimension in the universe called Aretz because it's running to do the will of the Creator. Mipnei sheratza la'asot retzon kona. This is one version of the answer. There is another version. Apparently it seems completely different. And it seems, someone made a mistake. But it's not. Lama nikra shma Aretz? Sheretzona la'asot retzon kona. Because it will of the physical to do the will of Hashem. So two versions. Either that it's running to do the will of Hashem, or the want of it is to do the will of Hashem. That's why it's called Aretz. What actually that means? Physical. The physical, not the Shamayim, the Aretz. The Gemara asks about the Aretz. Lama nikra shma Aretz? Why it's called Aretz? Ratza, run to do or want to do. Retzon Hashem. Why the Aretz? Why the physical more than spiritual? The answer is like this. Physical is a material, right? But it's not just a material. It's a raw material. Raw material is a material that has a shape, but this shape is not sophisticated. It's just blank thing. It's nothing really significant. It's a raw material. Let me give you an example. You have a bored kid, little kid. You could give him a solution not to be bored for maybe half an hour or so, depend. If you give him or her a Play-Doh, you know what's Play-Doh? It's a raw material. But it's fun because this kid could take and use his or her imagination and build from the Play-Doh, let's say, a giraffe, right? So it will occupy this kid for a few moments. And he will build a giraffe and he'll come to his mommy or parents and say, hey, look at this giraffe. He made it out of the Play-Doh. He will be very proud of it, he or she, and enjoy it. How long? And here it depends from a kid to kid. Some few minutes, some half an hour, but that's it. What after that? Okay, I made the giraffe, fine, but I got it, okay. Then they will smash it, put it back to a ball of dough, and do out of it something else. Give it another shape. Could be a castle, could be I don't know, a boat, something. So this is a raw material. Raw material is just a potential material that has in it a potential. You could give it many frames, many forms. And this is the entire physical that Hashem created. The entire physical is a Play-Doh. It's a dough. Now, you could play with it, but you could do something significant in it. And the inner will, so to say, of the material to get a significant shape, significant tzura, significant form, frame. Hashem created the Play-Doh for us, people, human beings, to use it in the right way. And actually the material itself striving to get a significant, true, meaningful form, frame. Let's explain something deeper in this. Remember the two versions of the answers for the question, למה נקרא שמה הארץ? Number one, שרצה לעשות רצון קונה. Number two, שרצונה לעשות רצון קונה. Running to or want to do what Hashem wants. Let's try to explain the concept of ratzon. What is ratzon? When I want something, לרצות, I want. What make me want and what actually happen when I want something? So again, it's in Lashon HaKodesh. How do you say to what? I want, אני רוצה. Be aware that the letters Resh Tzadik are in the word Ratzon. In the word Ratzon, you find the letters Resh and Tzadik. Resh and Tzadik, we say, it's Ritza, running. So here's the definition. When I want something, few things. First of all, I realize that I really want it and I don't have it. And I want it. Because I don't have it, it means that it's not in me. It's outside of me. And I realize that something there is something that I really want. The more I convince that I want it, it gives me motivation to go and get it. And this is the running. Larutz is I developed the motivation to go get it. Therefore, the word, the letters Resh Tzadik are in the word Ratzon. So two things. First of all, I realize that there is something that I don't have, that I want to have. I don't have meaning it's not with me, it's away from me, it's there. and then I really want to go, I strive to go and get it. The Aretz, let's go back to the Pasuk. The Aretz is the raw material. The raw material is looking, is want, so to say, to get a significant form. The form is not in the or within the material. It's out of it. Where? There. Where there? In the Shamayim. This is the connection between the Aretz and the Shamayim. So the Aretz want to get to the Shamayim, to the Sham, to get the form, the right form, to give it, the physical, the significant meaning. Okay. Let's go the next step. What do you mean the material wants? The material is not a person. The material is not intelligent to realize, to want, to run. And here comes a human being. Among the things that Hashem created in the physical dimension, we have the domem, the tzomeach, chai, medaber. Domem, inanimate, plants, animals, and a human being. From the common denominator of all of those four, all of them has physical part. The only one out of them that is intelligent is a person, is a human being. So when we say that the material want, we're talking about the representative of the physical, which is the human being. The human being has ability to think. He is an intelligent creature, but he is a combination of physical, therefore he could represent the physical. He also has in it also something non-physical, which is the neshama. Therefore, when we say that the physical want, we're talking about the intelligent part of the physical, which is a human being. But let's add another thing about a human being. When Hashem created the creation, He created it in 6 days, right? Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. This is the first day. Then what happened? V'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu. And then comes the next few days, the next 5 days, all together 6 days, that Hashem made order in the physical. At the end, in the 6th day of the creation, He created Adam. Hashem created Adam. What is the description in the Torah how Hashem created Adam? Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama. Hashem created Adam dust from earth. This is the origin of the body, the physical dimension in a human being. And the continuation of the pasuk is Vayipach be'apav nishmat chayim. The body came from the physical. Where does the neshama come from? From Hashem. Very interesting, Hashem. How it's called? Neshama. Separate the first and the last letter from neshama. The first letter is nun, right? Put it aside. The hey at the end, what are you left with? Shem. Neshama, right? What is Shem? Sham. Away. We do not understand it. We could not grasp it. I never saw my neshama. No one of you saw their neshama. When you look in the mirror in the morning, you could see the wrap of the neshama. The box that the neshama is in it, the body. But the neshama itself is spiritual, right? We have no really ability to understand it. Therefore, it's sham. So the neshama come from the shamayim. Be aware that the word shamayim include those 2 letters, shin mem. The word neshama include those 2 letters, shin mem. And Hashem himself, Shem, Hashem. By the way, there is one place in the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu called Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu says at Sefer Devarim, Le'yir'a et Hashem hagadol hanichbad ve'hanora hazeh. So it's one of the names of Hashem, Shem. One of the names of God, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is Shem. The common denominator between Shamayim, Neshama, and Hashem, that they are away from our ability to understand them, because our tools to understand stuff are limited to physical. We could think theoretically about something above physical, but we do not really could understand it completely. Fine. So, B'Sha'at Tova, we learned the first pasuk in the Torah again. I hope we upgrade our understanding from before. Now, Adam, when Hashem created Adam, it says in the Mishnah, Kol HaMetzil Nefesh MiYisrael, anyone who could save a person, Ke'ilu Hitzil Olam Maleh, like he saved the entire world. So there is common denominator between the world and a person. A person is a small world. In Chazal, small world is not Disney, small world is a person. Okay? It's very important. All those things very important, and I know, we're gonna get to the frog. But we have 4 classes, right? And I hope in those 4 classes we could cover some of what's written over here, because it's so big. So be patient, everything we will make a progress soon. Fine. So Adam include in Adam, in the physical dimension and the spiritual dimension of a human being, there are all the things that Hashem created in the big world, in the universe. Each one of those powers are in the Adam. Remember that. Okay, now let's go to learn the plan to create Adam. The plan that Hashem has and revealed to us in Sefer Bereshis in the 6th day of the creation. Let's go there. Here. Sefer Bereshit, Perek Aleph, the first chapter. I'm talking about those 2 psukim, 26 and 27. Let's read it. ויאמר אלוקים, נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו, וירדו בדגת הים ובעוף השמיים ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרמס הרומס על הארץ. ויברא אלוקים את האדם בצלמו, בצלם אלוקים ברא אותו, זכר ונקבה ברא אותם. So those are the psukim. Let me translate. Hashem said, Hashem, the creator of the universe, ויאמר אלוקים, נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו. Let's make Adam. That was before Hashem created Adam. We're talking about here the plan. Hashem is planning to create Adam. So it says, Na'aseh Adam, be aware of the nun in the beginning, which create a big problem. What's Na'aseh? Na'aseh is plural. It should be, Vayomer Elokim E'eseh Adam. I will make. Who was his partners in the creation? And it repeats itself. Vayomer Elokim Na'aseh Adam. Instead of E'eseh Adam, I will make. Let's make. He talked to someone. Na'aseh Adam betzalmenu kidmutenu. I don't know how to translate it to English. I mean, I know, but it's not it. Betzalmenu kidmutenu. You could say in our image. But there are 2 things, tzalmenu and kidmutenu. Tselem is a statue. Dmut, kidmutenu, dmut is image, but tselem is a statue. I mean, in the Torah it says, tselem is a statue. But my problem right now is not those 2 words, but again the plural at the end. Betzalmeinu, kidmutenu. You see, it's plural. Na'aseh, we will make, in our image and in our frame. Betzalmeinu kidmutenu. So again, repeatedly, there is a plural over here. Let's add to it another 2 big questions. Look at this word, Vayomer Elokim. How many times the word Elokim mentioned in the Torah relating to Hashem? Many times. Remember the rule? Yud Mem at the end of the word is always plural. If so, how come Hashem, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad? Hashem is one. So how come Elokim in plural? There are a singular. You could say Aleph Lamed, Kel, or Eloka. So there is a singular. And in many places in the Torah, relating to Hashem, we called him Elokim in plural. That's another question. Another question is, what do you mean Betzalmeinu Kidmutenu? Betzalmeinu, in our frame, in our image? Hashem is almighty. Therefore, Hashem has no physical part in him. Because physical is limited by time and space, and Hashem is beyond that. So what do you mean, Betzalmeinu Kidmutenu? What is the word? What those words means, Bichlal? What's B'Tselem Elokim? In the frame of God? God doesn't have frame. Frame is limited you to be inside the frame, inside the box. Hashem is almighty. See, simple things. We read this psukim, I believe, from the first pasuk, Bereshis bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz, and this parsha of Vayomer Elokim Naaseh Adam B'Tselmenu Kidmutenu. A person could read this, I don't know, 50 times, 100 times, many hundreds of times, and never bothered by those questions that I'm raising right now, which is very important. I'm not asking the question, I'm asking the question in order to understand. And you will see when I answer them. You will see how much we'll understand. Okay, but that was the plan. Vayomer Elokim, Naaseh Adam B'Tselmenu Kidmutenu, V'yirdu b'Dgat hayam. What's V'yirdu? V'yirdu, they will control. Rediyah, the shlita, controlling. Meaning, I created now the entire thing, and now I'm going to create a manager that under his hands, under his rule, he will rule everything. This is V'yirdu b'Dgat hayam u'v'of hashamayim, and the fish, and the birds, and the animals, and b'behema u'v'chol haaretz, and the entire land, and the entire physicality dimension, physical dimension in the universe, u'v'chol haremes haromes al haaretz. Okay? This is Pasuk Avav. Pasuk Avav, Pasuk 26, verse 26, describe the plan. The next Pasuk, put it into action. Look at this Pasuk. Vayivra Elokim. Remember I emphasized the plural before? Naaseh B'Tselmenu Kidmutenu, but now when it's come to the actual creating, it's singular. Vayivra Elokim et Adam Betzalmo. Not Betzalmeinu, Betzalmo, in his frame. Betzelem Elokim bara oto. And what is Adam that he created? Zachar u'nekeva bara otam. A male and a female he created them. And a male and a female, male and a female together, not each one of them, but together, they called Tselem Elokim. They called Adam. Adam is Zachar u'nekeva. So all of this thing, the sugya, the story of the creation is very, very deep and really hard to understand, even the simple thing about it. But how come I brought it over here? Because I want to get to the frog. But we steal away from the frog. We have to learn more stuff before. Let's answer the first question. Vayomer Elokim Naaseh Adam B'Tselmenu Kidmutenu. Why it's plural? Who Hashem is talking to? Why it's plural? In order to understand it, let's learn the Medrash. Rashi, on the spot, bring the Medrash. Let's see what Rashi said. Vayomer Elokim Naaseh Adam, Nimlach HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Malachim. Hashem was talking, before he created Adam, to the angels, the Malachim. Nimlach meaning he called them to get an advice from them, from the Malachim, from the angels. Emphasize Rashi. ואף על פי שלא סייעו ביצירתו, שהרי כתוב ויברא בלשון יחיד. So Rashi wants us to be, understand it precisely, that only in the plan Hashem was advised the Malachim. the angels. But when it comes to the actual creating of Adam, they didn't help anything. They were called to help in the plan, how to create Adam. We'll go to details soon. But for sure, when Hashem was created, Adam, the angel was not in the picture. ואף על פי שלא סייעו ביצירתו, שהרי כתוב ויברא, in singular, בלשון יחיד. So Rashi says something very interesting. ללמדנו דרך ארץ ומידת ענווה, שיהיה הגדול נמלך בקטן. Hashem wants to teach us over here. Don't forget, this is Torah. The meaning of the word Torah are instructions, teaching us. Give us instruction, not just what to do and what not to do, but how to look straight on things, how to understand the creation that Hashem created clearly. So this description of creation of Adam came to teach us, lelamdeinu, to teach us, derech eretz, to teach us manners, to teach us how to behave. Umidat anava. And from here we learn that a person should be humble. And what is the lesson? Sheyeh hagadol nimlach bakatan. Let's explain this. Sheyeh hagadol nimlach bakatan. A big person, what makes person big? I don't know, his knowledge in, let's say, certain area, his profession is big. He knows a lot. He or she knows a lot. So they're big. When you, a big, wants to make a decision, before you make the decision, get advice. And if you say, who I could advise with? All the people around me know much less than I know in this particular issue. There is a point to make an advice? Yes. Make advice. Get advisors and put the issue in front of them and ask them, what do you think? What we should do? When you advise with someone, it's not necessarily that you will get or make your decision based on the advice. But hear different opinions. Hear different opinions, and then you will make the decision. But hear many opinions. Why? What's the benefit of it? Let me give you just an example. Imagine that you're so big and you have a big tower and you are above the tower. The tower is a lot of things, right? And you are big, you're above the tower. Go get advice from people who are in this side of the tower, smaller, less than you. Why? As a human being, it could be very beneficial. Why? Because you look from above, sometimes small detail that is right here in a place that you do not see, or you could skip. When you get an advice, they will tell you things all around, and then you will make the decision. So there is a benefit. Of course, it's for us, human beings. By Hashem, it could not be, because Hashem knows everything, and Hashem created the angels. So for sure Hashem knows what the angels has in their mind, because He created their mind. So the Torah teach us, the Torah is for us, teach us, sheyeh hagadol nimlach bakatan. The big one should advise even someone that he considers smaller than him. Okay, so we trying to understand, or we understood already now, based on this medrash, that the Naaseh Adam, the plan was that Hashem was advised with the angels to create Adam or not create Adam. The story is not end here. Let's go to the actual creation of Adam. It's mentioned in the Torah in the 2nd chapter, Perek Bet, Pasuk Zayin. Look what's written here. ויצר השם אלוקים את האדם, עפר מן האדמה. Hashem created Adam, dust from earth. ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים. And he blew in his nostrils a neshama, nishmat chayim, neshama of living. Then the pasuk conclude, Vayhi ha'adam lenefesh chaya. So what was the result of this? Adam became a living creature. This is a simple understanding. Nefesh chaya, a living creature. Remember those two words. What was Adam after he was combined from dust from earth and the neshama? A living creature. But remember the words of the Torah, lenefesh chaya. Then something very interesting happened. Before Hashem created Chava, I'm going back. I'm going forward for the next psukim in the second chapter. Pasuk Yudchet. Vayomer Hashem Elokim. After Hashem created Adam, it says, Vayomer Hashem Elokim, lo tov heyot Adam levado. E'eseh lo ezer kenegdo. It's not good that he will stay alone. I will make for him a helper alongside of him. So what should be the next pasuk? After Hashem, so to say, realized that it's not good that Adam will be alone, he wants to create a helper. What should be the next pasuk? That he created Chava. But that's not the story. The next pasuk is, take us to different story altogether. After Hashem got to the conclusion, not good that Adam will be alone, look at the next pasuk. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim min ha'adama, kol chayat hasadeh, ve'et kol of hashamayim, vayaveh el ha'adam. Hashem created all the animals and all the birds, vayaveh el ha'adam. And he brought them to Adam. What for? Lir'ot ma yikra lo. He gave Adam the privilege to name those animals, to decide that this is a donkey and this is a lion, whatever. Okay? So he brought all the animals and all the birds to Adam, lir'ot ma yikra lo. And the Torah continues and says that Adam did the job in the highest possible way. V'chol asher yikra lo ha'adam nefesh chaya hu shmo. He knew how to give the right names to each animal. And that, hu shmo, meaning this is the name. Let's read another pasuk. Vayikra ha'adam shemot, and Adam gave names. Lechol ha'be'ema, ul'of hashamayim, for all the animals and all the birds. Ulechol chayat hasadeh. And then the Torah concludes this pasuk. Ule'adam lo matza ezer kenegdo. So there is some connection between giving names to the animals to the fact that Adam needed a helper. So maybe one of the animals or the birds will be the helper. And he gave them names. And after he gave the names, he said, no one of those could be the helper of Adam. Ule'adam lo matza ezer kenegdo. Okay. I'm not going to this point. I want to make another point. Remember the pasuk that I asked you before to remember? Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama, vayipach be'apav nishmat chayim, vayhi ha'adam. What was the result? Vayhi ha'adam lenefesh chaya. Those two words mentioned here too, by the names that he gave to the animals. V'chol asher yikra lo ha'adam nefesh chaya hu shmo. There is a fascinating thing that's here, and in order to understand it, let's read or learn another medrash. And we will get to the frog at the end. Maybe not today, maybe next year, but we'll get. We're going slowly but surely, amayeke. Everything should be first finished, then we could go to the next step. Here's the medrash. It's in Sefer Bereshis by the Bria. אמר רבי סימון, בשעה שבא הקדוש ברוך הוא לברות את אדם הראשון. When Hashem was about to create Adam הראשון. נעשו מלאכי השרת כיתים כיתים וחבורות חבורות, מהם אומרים אל ייברא ומהם אומרים ייברא. So the Medrash add very interesting information over here. Remember we said before, Rashi brings the Medrash, that when it says in the pasuk, Vayomer Elokim na'aseh Adam, he was getting advised from the Malachim. He gathered the Malachim, the angels, and he asked them, I want to create Adam. What do you think? So I'll tell you things that mentioned in the Medrash that we will show later on in another Medrash, in Sefer Bamidbar. When Hashem gathered the Malachim, God gathered the Malachim and told them, I am about to create Adam. Before I create Adam, I want your opinion. What do you think? To create Adam or not? The Medrash there, I'll show it to you later, says that the Malachim told Hashem, Adam, vusidus. They probably say it in Yiddish, because what other language they could talk. Vusidus meaning, what is this? What is Adam? No such a thing before. So could you describe to us what Adam is? This Adam that you want to create? And the Medrash says that Hashem gave them information about Adam. What will be his shortcomings and what will be his good attributes. So he make a list of attributes versus shortcomings that Adam has in his personality. So the Malachim say, okay, now we have what to discuss. Let's think about it. So they went to the other room and they analyze all the attributes of Adam, the good ones and the not good one. And they came back to give their opinion because they were asked, right? So this Medrash says that they did not agree on one opinion. They divided to two groups. One group of the Malachim says, okay, we saw the good attributes, we saw the negative attributes. We think it's worth to create him because even though he has shortcomings, but he has good attributes that he could overcome the shortcomings. That was one group of angels. The other group of angels says, no, don't create him. We saw his shortcomings, they're so terrible. So even with these good things that he has, he will fail. So don't create him. That's what this Medrash says. Okay? That the Malachim, the angels, was not agreeing about our opinion to advise Hashem. Okay, it's cut in the middle, and there is no continuation. But the fact that Hashem created Adam means that he heard the advisors and he decided to create Adam. The fact is that we are here. So in order to understand this, we have to learn another Medrash that could explain to us why it was worth, from Hashem's point of view, to create Adam. This Medrash is Medrash Rabbi in Sefer Bamidbar, Parashat Chukat. Look at this one. בשעה שבא הקדוש ברוך הוא לברוא את אדם הראשון, נמלך במלאכי השרת. When Hashem was about to create Adam הראשון, he advised מלאכי השרת. אמר להם, נעשה אדם. אמרו לו, I want to make Adam. אמרו לו, אדם זה מה טיבו? What is this? What is Adam? So here, look at the answer. אמר להם, חוכמתו מרובה משלכם. Remember the things that I described before? They asked him, what is Adam? So we give him a list of his attributes. They advised and they came with those conclusions. One of them, or one group says, create him, and the other group said, don't create him, he will fail. Hashem created Adam. But because Hashem advised them, it's nice to explain why he didn't accept the advice of not to create him. And here's the answer. אמר להם חוכמתו מרובה משלכם. Listen, in the list that they gave you, I'll just explain this. In the list that they gave you, Hashem says to the angels, there are many good attributes and many negative attributes. One of the good ones are wisdom, chokhmah. When you look at this attribute called chokhmah, wisdom, how do you understand this? You, the angels. You know what? How do we understand, we, human beings, when someone tells us something about someone, let's say, this person is very wealthy. How do I understand very wealthy? depend where I am holding. If I'm doing very well, let's say I make 400,000 a year, and you tell me that this person is very wealthy, I always say, wow, he's much more than me. Meaning he's making, I don't know, 10,000, 15,000, 15 million, whatever. Okay? So you always compare things to you. If you are very poor, so anyone who, you make, let's say, $100 a year. I'll just give an example. And this person do 200. For you, he is very healthy. He's very wealthy. Right? So it's all relative. So Hashem told them, when I wrote that Adam is wise, how did you understand this? You, the Malachim, the messengers of God, Hashem gave them tools in order to do their job. So among the tools that Hashem gave the Malachim, He gave them wisdom. So they thought that when Hashem says that Adam gonna be wise, he will be wise like them. They said, it's not enough. The shortcoming is so big that even with the wisdom, you could not overcome it. Hashem corrected them and said here to them, you know why I didn't accept your advice? Those who said, don't create him? Because you misunderstood the wisdom of Adam. Amar lahem chokhmato meruba mishelachem. He's gonna be way smart or wise than you. And he proved it to them. Hashem proved it to the angels that the wisdom of Adam will be greater than them. Ma'asa, let's continue. Ma'asa, kines kol behema chayav ha'of ve'eviram lifnehem. He said, you know what? Let me show it to you. He took all the animals in the world and asked the angels to name them. העבירם לפניהם, אמר להם, מה שמותם של אלו? What's the names of those animals? ולא ידעו. They were wise enough to know that they do not know. Meaning, in order to give a name, name is the essence of the thing that got the name. In order to give a right name, you have to understand the essence of this particular animal. What's the major talent or attribute that this animal has? They knew that they do not know. So Hashem says to them, now wait. He called Adam that he just created, Kevan shebara Adam, he'eviran lefanav. He took all the animals and passed them in front of Adam and told him the same thing. מה שמותם של אלו? אמר לו, מה שמותם של אלו? וידע. And he knew. He knew to give the right names to each animal. So Hashem proved to the angels that his wisdom is more than theirs. So of course we will left now because our time is over for now with a few questions. First of all, why the Malachim didn't know and how Adam knew. And what is the meaning to give the right names? Those two questions will start our share for next time. But let's finish the medrash. העבירם לפניו, Hashem passed all the animals in front of Adam. אמר לו, מה שמותם של אלו? What's the names of those animals? וידע. And here's the hint. שנאמר, וכל אשר יקרא לו האדם נפש חיה, הוא שמו. נפש חיה. נפש חיה is Adam himself. The combination of a body and the soul. Remember, וייצר השם אלוקים את האדם, עפר מן האדמה, ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים. ויהי האדם לנפש חיה. Adam including in him all the things that Hashem created in the entire universe. Therefore, when the animals come in front of him, he has to analyze the attribute and the talent of this particular animal. How he could know? Easy. He could look at himself because he will know that this animal has something that he himself have. Therefore, he analyzes and give the right name. And this is וכל אשר יקרא לו האדם נפש חיה הוא שמו. Okay, we'll make a break here, a whole break of a whole week in order to digest this deep stuff that we just learned. And we have an amazing thing ahead. And I hope 3 more shiurim will give us the chance to really cover it. So this is for today. Remember, the two questions are how Adam know what they do not know, and what is the meaning to analyze the animal and understand what is the name. I'll give it with examples of some animals, why the name actually express what the essence of this animal is. This is our shir for today. Thank you for listening.